You can literally quit your season tickets and get those same seats back next year.
Yeah. McAfee did it.
Yeah, I know, I know, I know, I know. I did a big rant on the Colts, and I had a lot, and I brought up McAfee. This is like 3 weeks ago, and like
Yeah.
so many people were like dogging McAfee. I was like, dude, he's the only reason the Colts have been relevant
He's
for the
the only
last.
public figure that speaks about the Colts because they're a small market team that underperforms week in and week out. They're a 9.5 point favorite against the fucking worst offense in the league that's tanking for the number one pick, and they get the doors blown off them by Drew Lock, a guy who's been a backup on literally every team. He was backing up Daniel Jones. That's how bad Drew Lock is. And he carved and dropped a 40 spot on the defensive skull.
And you know what the worst part about that is, was it was a potential way for the Colts to make the playoffs.
Literally, we didn't control our own destiny, but we absolutely had to win
Yeah, you had to win.
and you don't have it. Whatever. I made a lot of fucking money on that game. Thank you, Alec Pierce.
All right, everybody. Well, welcome back, Beers by the Ivy. I got my buddy Jake. Jake was a early guest of Beers by the Ivy, the first guest of Beers by the Ivy, and then I went essentially pretty much only college football, and now we're back talking NFL, and Jake's pretty much an NFL expert. For an amateur, you're pretty much an NFL expert, Jake. So.
I just have a problem. I watch football a lot.
Yeah, Jake's a big football guy, so you guys will definitely love him if you haven't seen him yet. But yeah, we're pretty much just gonna talk playoff picks, team breakdown, may even get some various other things. As you just heard, we were both Colts fans, and we are feeling down on our Colts. That's for sure. I've been down on the Colts for about 5 years now, so
Thank
you know
God
what
that
it is.
season's over. That's all I have to say about that. That
Just a
was
well, it's a throwaway season, and we got a repeat season of the same thing next year. I saw some guy take the Ballard postseason from like 2 years ago, and he's like,
mm,
it's gonna be the exact same this year.
probably draft some defensive guy who's a starter for us, but probably doesn't start anywhere else. And he's a not a big impact player, but he's not like, the worst player we could get at that position. And it should we got that mid round pick, and
It's the
what
worst.
that's so hit or miss. You either nail it or you don't.
Last year they got lucky because no one drafted a defensive player, and they literally got to pick whoever they wanted. But that's probably not gonna happen again this year.
Yeah, and I mean they
Quarterbacks.
still really they kind of fucked it up still because Kenyon Mitchell, Terrion Arnold, Cooper DeJean. I mean that's just three people I can name off the top of my head that all had better seasons than Latu Latu. I think he's going to be a good player, and I'm high on him. I have a fucking Latu jersey, so.
It's just a cool last name.
But yeah,
I,
cool
I
last name and first name combo.
I like the story more than like the play. I like the
Yeah.
fact that he was like counted out by doctors and he figured it out. So, all right, do you want to start AFC or NFC?
I feel like the NFC has, well, number one, I just like the NFC more,
Okay.
um, for a variety of reasons. So I have a futures bet right now. It's the Lions to beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. And I'm not even gonna lie, when I watched the Lions play last week against the Niners, I was like, dude, this defense is taking too many injuries. I'm cooked. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Watching them last night in that game, incredible. That was the best defensive performance I've seen probably from a team all season. The way they game plan for Justin Jefferson, Alex Anzalone coming back was an absolute massive boost. The way that he can command the field, the way that he can roam the middle, and like you can just tell the defense looked a lot more settled with him out there. I'm feeling really good about the Lions going. I know one seed, surprise, surprise, but I'm
No,
feeling
I
really
mean
good about
they
them going
they
all
are
the
this
way.
close to not having the one seed. They've had more defensive injuries, I think, than anybody in the NFL in terms
Yeah,
of key guys. So they're all fight and all heart. I don't think there's a single person NFL fan who's like rooting against the Lions. I think the Lions will be the nation's team.
I would absolutely love to see the Lions in the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously, my dream Super Bowl is going to be Lions and Bills because I win a shit ton of money. But besides that, those are probably two of my favorite teams, not named the Colts in the league, and that's I just like the way they're built and the way they actually game plan.
Yeah, before the season started, my picks were the Rams and Chiefs. So
Hmm.
I'm just excited like the Rams like figured it out. I mean, they're winning games without like Cooper Kupp even like catching the ball. And I know that
Exactly.
because he was on my fantasy team. So, that didn't help. I got second this year in fantasy because Cooper Kupp didn't show up. But not a big deal. I'm not mad about it.
Hey, sometimes that's the way it goes with fantasy. So, looking at what I don't even know how this breaks down because I know in the bracket that we're looking at, it's got like just the 5-4, 6-3, 7-2, but I don't know if that's like game time. So let's go like game one, Vikings and Tampa. Who's your pick and why?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Vikings. I think they have the better coach. I think the quarterbacks are pretty even. I think Baker Mayfield actually is like pretty good, damn good quarterback. So I could see him winning. I really like the receiving core for the Buccaneers, but I don't know. Minnesota's been rolling. I kind of like the story. Maybe it's a narrative I'm going with. I like Sam Darnold. I thought he kind of got lucky by having that intense game before the game because he kind of got the playoff vibe out, and he didn't have a great game yesterday. So I think that's going to help him going forward in terms of just getting those jitters out and being ready to go for a real playoff game. So yeah, I'm gonna go Minnesota. Hope
Yeah, I'm
that's a
gonna
good
go
reason.
Minnesota too. When you look at his career holistically, that's probably the biggest NFL game that Sam Darnold's ever played in. Like, just being completely honest, because he looked at dismal on his rookie deal in New York, but I think that's
Yeah,
just the New York Jets thing. Like every quarterback that goes there looks like shit.
yeah, including Aaron Rodgers.
But then he goes and backs up in San Fran, and now he comes out. And I mean, if you at the beginning of the season would have told me that the NFC North was putting three teams in the playoffs, well, actually, if you would have told me they were putting two teams in the playoff, I would have laughed at you because I didn't think that the Packers had the season they had either. But I damn sure didn't think that two NFC North teams would be fighting for the one seed in the very last week of the season, and probably one of the most like anticipated games that we would have seen all year up to that point. Um,
I think the narrative like NFC versus AFC is AFC just has all those like stars, but like and then I thought like the NFC was gonna be like the joke of the century. Because like they don't have any good quarterbacks, but they land a few rookies, a few guys step up, and now we're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Now we
rookies
have like a
hit, free
evenly,
agents that they sign hit, and you
yeah,
you know those two are a deadly combo. I mean, you can go up and down with rookies that have hit and veterans that are performing at above the level expected with teams specifically the NFC. When you look at the AFC, it's just a lot of star power, a lot of like the young. Like I think the teams that are in, with the exception of the Steelers because they fucking suck. Uh,
spoiler.
they have their like superstar quarterback, like franchise guy, like laid out. I mean, the Pittsburgh are renting Russell Wilson. He's shown his true colors now. So, uh, but yeah, I'll have to stick with Vikings versus Tampa for that one. I think it's gonna be a good game though. Don't get me wrong. I think the Baker's gonna be able to put up a fight, and Mike Evans, you know, probably one of the best receivers that I've, actually got. Definitely the most underappreciated receiver that I've gotten to watch. The majority of his career.
Yeah, it was cool to see him get that catch. I saw some people like
Yeah.
talking smack about him. I'm like, dude, he just picked up a record, or not a record, but like second place in what was it, all-time catches or in a season or something. I don't know, whatever it
Most
was.
most consecutive
Look,
seasons with 1,000+ receiving yards.
boom. Okay, great.
Um, so I mean that's a big deal,
That's a
especially when
big
you
deal. Jerry
consider
Rice and
who
then
his
you.
quarterbacks have been. I mean, I think that how good he was kind of overshadowed. Oh damn, overshadowed by Jameis Winston's 30 for 30, 5,200 passing yard season. Because like, how can you not look at how like eye-poppingly bad that season was? But 5,200 passing yards, he had 1,000 plus of them.
Yeah.
So, uh, yeah, I think it's gonna be a good game, but I'm gonna go Minnesota on that first one.
All right, let's.
Uh, Moving down to Washington and LA, I kind of feel like you're gonna go LA on this one. That's just
Yeah, I
a
am. I am
bet.
gonna. Do you want the reason?
Yeah, tell me the reason. I think I know it though.
Well, it's just coaching, and it's also they've been
Oh,
there,
coaching.
done that. They have a system that works. Their O linemen are picking up now, and I just like Matthew Stafford, third down and 9 to have to make a throw, and he's got two receivers to do it.
Two
And
superstars.
so there you go. Like it's NFL playoff football is so situational, and the Rams are situational offense. That's why they're not good every
Yep.
single week, but they're good in pockets when they need to be good. And that's
They
why I
got
like the Rams. And I do like Washington. I'm excited about Washington. I'm excited about like, the new ownership and the whole 9 yards. Like that community is now getting a football team again. But I
yeah.
just feel like this is a baby step league. You don't just come in the NFL and rip through the playoffs. There's like three guys in the history of the NFL have done that, and I don't see Washington doing that.
I think this is the first time that they've had this record and made the playoffs since like 1991, or it was some super weird number the other day when I looked at the stat. The Washington Red, oh, damn, the Washington football, no, Commanders threw me for a loop there. They get covered a lot here due to the geographical area, so it's like them and the Panthers kind of like that's like the home base teams. You get
Right.
the Ravens thrown in there a little bit, some Pittsburgh Steelers too, but it's mainly like Washington and the Panthers. So it in a way is kind of nice to see Washington fans finally getting there. I feel like this is their homecoming, even making it this far,
Oh, it's
uh,
great. I mean, they're
especially
probably
in their
gonna get a
division.
probably gonna get a new stadium because I heard the stadium's terrible. Like that's probably coming. I mean, the whole franchise. Like
It
some
is.
people are gonna change the name back. Like that could happen. Like
I'm not gonna say their state is bad, but you got to take a life insurance policy out if you want to go like watch a Washington game. Like something might fall apart and you might
yeah,
fall through the damn bleachers. It's
you
rough.
might. You
Uh,
might.
I'll take Rams here.
Okay. All right. All
Hey,
right.
coaching, but then I like a guy who's been there around the block. Obviously, Stafford's been in the league for a long time. He's won the Super Bowls, won Super Bowl, knows how
Yeah.
to get to the big game, knows how to win. I mean, if you look at this season, you can go back a couple weeks and like listen to words that I had kind of said about the Rams, like what they needed to do, and that'll probably tell you exactly how I feel about that team right now. They fought through so much adversity. Don't get me wrong, they had some help because the Niners looked like absolute trash this season, but they fought through so much adversity with injuries and the whole entire time it was like, if they can just hang on and win this, win these next couple weeks and stack them up a little bit. And did they win every single game? No, but did they win when they needed to? Yeah, absolutely. So this is kind of a one of those situations where I think that they're just going to go handle their business.
Yeah.
And
Me
they
too.
got two running backs that I love, Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. I love both of them. So
It's a good balance. It's a good balancing backfield.
yeah, I'm a big fan of when teams have two like really good running backs. They can, and that's the Lions when they get David Montgomery back. Watch out.
Is he gonna be back for the playoffs?
I mean, that's what he's
Up in the
saying.
air.
I think that he's got a lot more say in it than the team doctors do, solely
Hmm.
because it's like his career and everything. Um, Based off that team's attitude, man, I would have a hard time seeing them, especially with the first round bye. I'd have a hard time seeing them in the uh damn, I almost said NLDS. In the in the divisional round and not, him not be playing. That'd be kind of weird to see.
Totally. All right. Here we go. Packers versus Philadelphia. I want to say that I fell in love the last few weeks with the Packers defense. There's something
Yeah.
about that defense that I just love to watch. They blitz fiercely. Their
Hmm.
cornerbacks and safeties are tough. Their D lineman gets free. Like that defense, just I think it can be. I mean, it wasn't incredible this year, but I think it could be like the defense next year as those guys get a little bit older.
Did Xavier McKinney end up leading the league in picks? I know that he was close for a little bit.
I'm not a stat guy to that level, but they're sick. I mean, they literally are a sick defense to watch. They're fierce.
Yeah. I I love them. Christian Watson tore his was it
Right.
ACL or MCL?
I think it was ACL.
So not having him in that offense is going to be tough to overcome. Love Josh Jacobs, love what he can do with the ball, but I feel like with the way that Saquon's played this season, he's going to be fully charged and juiced up going into this game. That
I know.
he might go for 250 yards all purpose.
Yeah, and they're both like two well-run franchises. I mean, I think Matt LaFleur is a way better coach than Philly's coach. Um, but I mean, that's just maybe my
Oh, no
opinion.
doubt.
So,
I mean, look at what he's had to deal with too for his whole entire tenure of coaching. He's had, the personality of Aaron Rodgers and having to deal with
right.
all that. And
Right. And so, Jalen Hurts, I mean, honestly, they should have won that Super Bowl, and I feel like the refs kind of screwed them. So I wasn't happy about
yeah,
that like pass interference call or some BS. Like, so I mean, is everyone healthy for Philly?
I think for the most part, yeah,
Okay.
everybody's healthy.
Like the
Besides a couple of the
receivers?
people who had like season-ending injuries early.
Okay.
I feel like Brandon Graham was on that list, if I'm not mistaken. There was some like long-standing name that's been there for a while. I can't remember.
Yeah, so like my heart like wants the Packers because I just love watching them,
Mhm.
specifically on defense. But it's like, can Jordan Love play elite football, or is he not going to play elite football? Because you kind of know what you're going to get with Philadelphia. Like Jalen
Yeah,
Hurts just shows up every single week, professional. You know what you're going to get. Has maybe one bad game a year, but Jordan Love can literally be Rocky. Like the backup won. Like remember those couple stretches of games, and they didn't even miss him.
yeah. There's a couple, and then he's battling injury for a little bit too, so that definitely didn't help.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I
I
would
think
love to
yeah, it's
see.
I like there's some report today. I didn't read it, but it was like something about his health. Now that could have been like a lower, like an, not a big deal, but
Who, Jordan Love's?
yeah, like I thought there's something today about that. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, I
So,
didn't see anything. I watched the Pat McAfee show today, and Shefty didn't say anything about it.
okay.
Um, that's, I mean, I kind of figured that's where something like that would come out.
All right, well
AJ
maybe
Bonk
I'm just
on,
making
and
it up.
it's possible. It could be Matt LaFleur on his burner account. Just trying
Could be.
to play mind games with
Yeah,
the.
but regardless, he's got to play elite football. And
Yeah,
because you're not going to beat Philadelphia not playing that, that's for sure.
no, I'm a big believer in Green Bay. So would it? I don't really have a dog in the fight of like in terms of like who I'm rooting for. When I just look at it on paper, like I think that Philadelphia is going to win. They're going to be really hard to freaking beat, especially with the way the offense was tuned up, like
Yeah,
the
I
end of the
think
season.
yeah, I agree. I think Philadelphia's going to win, but I'll probably be rooting for the Packers.
Yeah, I feel that. By the way, Xavier McKinney was second in the league with INTs. He had 8. Kirby Joseph for the Lions finished with 9.
Jeez, there you go.
I missed that the other night.
That's a good stat. You just looked that up while talking.
Yeah, real quick, I had to pull that up because I was like, is it? Big stat guy. So that's the first round. When you go into the second round, so it's the lowest seed will play the 1 seed, and then the other two will match up.
Do you want to jump to the AFC though first?
Yeah, I'm down for that. Whatever you want to do.
All right, let's do that, and then we'll work around the bracket.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So I got top of my screen is Chargers versus Houston. So if I kind of break this game down, quarterbacks I'll call equal. I think they both do different things a little bit better than the other one, but for the most part, I mean, two really good quarterbacks. I like both teams. Houston had a better year than they were supposed to, so I feel like people were kind of down on Houston, but they're still a really good football team. Chargers, obviously with Harbaugh, completely turned it around, so they're kind of what the Texans were last year. So the question is, does the story end for the Chargers, kind of like Houston's did last year, or I think they won a playoff game last year, but regardless. Or does Houston like step up and take that next step?
Do you want my non-biased pick
Yeah.
as
We
a
guys,
Colts
remember
fan?
we're Colts fans. Yeah, we are Colts fans.
I'm going Chargers.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
dude, I saw a lot. I saw a lot from them offensively. One of the biggest factors is making me pick the Chargers is well, there's like they kind of play into each other. So it's A, the injuries that Houston's face on their skill players.
Hmm.
If they had Diggs, Tank Dell playing, I'd probably lean Houston on this one. But solely for the fact that they don't, and then Quentin Johnson has looked freaking good the last couple weeks. Like he remembered how to catch balls because there was like last year and then like the first half of this season. That dude couldn't catch anything, and I was like, this guy does not look like the same player that they drafted. But I think that the Chargers are going to take this and an upset. They're going to go into NRG Stadium, if that's even what it's called anymore. I don't even know. And they're going to take the dub away from Houston, and then the AFC South's going to be eliminated. They'll join us in Cancun.
I'm gonna take the Chargers too, just because I feel like Justin Herbert is that guy, and he'll get a couple first downs with his legs, and he's just gonna make it happen, like he did literally get in the Rose Bowl, like his year coming out of school. I expect like that Justin Herbert, who is the full facet of being an NFL quarterback in today's game, to show up. And like you said, injuries for Houston. I just don't think it's Houston's year.
Yeah, do you have injuries would be a big question. Is J.K. Dobbins playing? That's my
He,
main
he
like.
just played. He just played
Oh, he
last
did
week.
in that last game. He did.
Yeah, he got a couple
Okay, cool.
carries and he caught a ball. So, and
Dude,
he's
he looks really good on the Chargers offense.
yeah, like I'm an Ohio State fan and like he's way up there in terms of like total yards for an Ohio State Buckeye. He's an
Yeah.
incredible back.
I mean,
He just had injuries. Holy
he
cow.
couldn't put it together and well, he was a Baltimore, right, to start his career.
Yeah, he like tore his
He
ACL. Like,
couldn't. It just kept on getting hurt.
yeah,
And I
so
mean, I don't fault them for moving off him. They kind of had to. Their
had
hands
to.
were
But luckily the Chargers pick him up. It's like perfect. We
yeah,
got a running back.
seamless fit.
Yeah. All right, I got Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I'm taking Baltimore.
God, I hope Baltimore wins by 50. I hope Baltimore blows Pittsburgh out. I mean, they have looked awful down this last stretch of the season too. So that definitely hasn't helped. Um, I think their defense is Their defense is elite. Their defense is probably going to keep this game close. No matter, I mean, TJ Watt's healthy. Uh, I think if you listen to me talk about, football in general, you kind of know that I think TJ Watt's probably one of the best defensive players that I'm gonna watch, like as an adult, like fan of the sport.
Hmm.
Uh, Dude's a game wrecker, but with the way that Baltimore's been playing, I would not want to match up against them in the playoffs at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was the third time this year they're about to play each other. Is that right? Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's going to be close because they know each other so well. But Baltimore's just going to figure it out. They're going to be up by a score, and then they're just going to run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, AFC North games are always freaking battles, bloodbaths.
I know.
So.
Makes the AFC South look so soft.
Dude, it's a real powerhouse division. We've had the number one pick come circulating through like 5 times in the last 10 years, and the Colts haven't won it any time in the last 10. No big deal. I'm
It's
just
not, yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not,
get off my
it's just
soapbox.
embarrassing. I had a
I
rant yesterday.
also I'm gonna give some flowers where they're deserved. I think that Lamar Jackson has looked incredible this season. He just posted he's one of the only quarterbacks in history to go for 4,100 yards and 4 picks or something like that. Um, Incredible. Everybody had it, and especially if you think back, because Atlanta was about to sign him, was about to try and get him, but their owner was like, "Well, we don't know if he can stay healthy. We don't know what he looks like from like a whole like season view of him play." I mean, look at the stats now. What does that tell you?
Yeah,
So,
you're talking like when he's already established in the NFL, like that year where it
yep,
was kind of like weird in the offseason. Yeah,
yep.
he's looked great,
So,
and he's always been able to throw the ball better than what people think. He's always been
yeah.
accurate, and obviously he's an absolute freak of nature. He's one of the best watches in the NFL. You see
God, he is
Baltimore
so
on TV, you're like, I'll
electric.
check this out for sure. Oh,
when
he's
he gets
unbelievable.
when he gets out into open space and he's just doing his thing, it's like a man playing with like no
It's
Diddy playing with boys out there. Like it's kind of weird.
it's like he's playing
Uh,
high school football.
Legitimately, he's playing against high schoolers out there. It's fun to watch, man.
He's got a
I don't
ridiculous high
particularly
school
I
tape.
don't care for the Ravens like that, but
Yeah, I just
I
respect
love
them.
watching them
I
compete.
respect that franchise a lot. They're just always good.
Yep, they always have a hard-nosed defense.
Oh
Like
God, yeah,
it
I
doesn't
know.
matter what they always have a hard-nosed defense.
So does Pittsburgh. Like both those
Mhm.
squads. Always good on D.
Divisional pressure to keep up with each other. And the Baltimore does all the things I like a franchise to do. When they feel like they're close, they go out and make aggressive moves to get better. Last year they feel like they're close, they go out and get Roquan Smith. That's the top five linebacker in the league when they went and got him. I mean, I can't speak on the season that he's having, this year because I haven't kept up with it to that degree. Kind of have my mind in other places around the league. But Roquan Smith, when they got him for Chicago, that was like a top five linebacker in the league. So, I mean, take that big swing, go out and get even better than what you are. I love that. Love seeing that.
Big swings work in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
it's literally a pattern of big swings.
Yep. I mean, that's why you see the same teams in the playoffs every year.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, we got Denver, Buffalo. I want to say that I'm choosing Buffalo, but damn, Denver's had a season.
Dude, what a year. You dump your quarterback off, you take that big ass cap hit, and I feel like after they took that, because it's like 58 million is to
Yeah.
Russ right now.
Mm-hmm.
Once they took that, I feel like everybody kind of wrote them off as like a
I
non.
did.
Because what are you gonna do? I wrote them off.
I wrote him off.
I had my freaking Facebook blowing up like 2 weeks ago. All these Denver fans commenting on something. I commented on FanDuel because some man I can't remember which analyst it was. He was like, "Oh, this is a 12-win team or something like that." I was like, "My boy, you're gonna be lucky if they win 3 games. Like, be honest with yourself. A rookie quarterback, come on." But dude, they freaking squared away. Sean Payton made a hell of a rebound with that team, that franchise. Uh, they've got really good defensive players playing like at or above the level they were expected to, which is exactly what you need when you're kind of building from the ground up like that. Because that's essentially what they're doing. They're doing a very accelerated rebuild. Um, I will say they may get ousted in the first round. I think that the Bills are going to beat them, but watch out for them because that Russell Wilson cap clears out after the season. Watch out because they got another 50 million they're going to be playing with.
100%. Well, I want to say like shout out Sean Payton because like some people were like dogging him for like not being a good coach, and which is
Yep.
kind of ridiculous because like his run at the Saints was pretty consistent. But he jumps back, gets his guy, which is so important in the NFL. I'm calling Buffalo. I think this could be a good game at like more of a neutral-ish site, or even in Denver. But like to to be in Buffalo, it, that's just something different.
Uh, is this going to be a snow game? Because I know that we're supposed to be getting snow down here next weekend.
I got 10 inches at my house right now.
I mean,
I
I
know.
got not even an eighth of an inch, and I'm already on a 2 hour delay.
You know what
But
I did? I saw this on TikTok. Was like someone used like a giant piece of wood, like a board, and like they
mhm.
used it as a shovel. So I did that today. I got my driveway done like really quick.
No, that's what's
Y-
up.
Yeah, you got to kind of like you kind of like bring it high to low as you pick up more snow, but just it's just like a giant board and it just picks up tons of snow.
No, that's what's up. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean, we're not
know.
gonna have to worry about that here, but like we got the threat of potential snow tonight, and they put the whole entire city of Virginia Beach on a 2 hour delay.
That's crazy.
So I have to be at work till 9 tomorrow.
That's crazy. I don't know who I was talking to, but it was like might have been your mom or somebody. My other friend's mom who lives in he's like in the military too. And they're
Mhm.
saying like the beach, you literally just have military planes going over the beach all the time or whatever.
Oh, nonstop.
It's just that's crazy. That'd just be cool to go see.
Yeah, nonstop. That's why my grandparents vacation here all the time, is so they can watch the planes flying overhead.
Yeah, I never even knew that was a thing. So
Yeah.
there
Hey,
you
shout
go.
out to my grandparents, man.
Yeah,
Sh-
shout out.
Shout out to my grandparents.
Dude, they got the coolest house in Zionsville. I freaking love that
Hmm.
house. If we're talking about the same grandparents, like that is one of the coolest freaking
Same
houses.
grandparents.
It's just unbelievable. Every time I'm over there, I'm like, I gotta go just drive by that house. Like, it's the coolest freaking house.
Right in the
It's just
middle.
just the location because there's a pool and like those houses don't have pools, and you're just like, that's so elite.
In the basement.
Yeah, in the
Classic
pool.
Indiana house.
Exactly. Location, location, location. All right, so if we're doing this
For
correctly, I think
sure.
you and I had very similar picks. So it'd be Detroit playing Minnesota, right? Yeah, because
Against
they
the
reseed.
lowest seeded, so they'd be, oh boy.
So that's just a
Rematch.
rematch. I know,
So,
rematch.
oh man. You know
That's a
what I
t
would love to see out of this game is I would love to see Detroit rock those same black jerseys, and I want to see Minnesota go the off whites, like the crispy white. That would be such a tough look on the field.
You know, what I loved as a side note, Ohio State versus Oregon. Those jerseys and that environment, the Rose Bowl was sick.
What a game. What
I
a
was,
game.
I know, I was like going
What a
crazy.
game.
I had a whole breakdown on it. All right, so
Incredible.
I'm taking Detroit because it's their year. They got Ben Johnson still. They're going to be rested. I think rest is good for these guys because they've been on the grindstone for so long, and they're going to come out fiery. I don't see them slowing down in the first half because they didn't play. And so give me the Lions. It's their year, and the nation's behind them.
I took them to win the Super Bowl, so give me the Lions. I will say that I would expect this game to be a lot more competitive than the last one was. Kevin O'Connell's one of those guys where if you give him a certain amount of looks, he can make those adjustments, and I think definitely think he's going to do it with the full entire game like film. I mean, the Lions get the break they deserve in the first round. Great for them. I mean, they were playing a complete meaningless game against the Niners and decided to just blow them the fuck out. Uh, no, they didn't even blow them out in that game, but they won unnecessarily. Put it like that. They're going for it on like fourth down from their own like 40. So Lions get their break. I think they're going to come back very healthy. If David Montgomery comes back, I think they win this one by at least 10. But expect a lot better game, a lot closer game than when they played last night.
Yeah, like how many? I'm trying to look up how many yards the Lions had in like the run game.
God, it was a lot. I know Gibbs was tearing them up last
Yeah, he
night.
went nuts. He took that big hit, I believe, right in the early part of that game, and then
Third
he just
drive, Alex
yeah
Anzalone.
yeah. So that giant hit, and then oh geez, sorry, I'm falling apart here. And then he came back and just shredded them the rest of the game. I love Gibbs, dude. Yeah, that's another thing too. Like when they went out and drafted Gibbs, and they drafted like Campbell, the linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
They took so much heat on that draft. I was like, they just got two football players. Like, what does the
Coming
NFL not
right.
understand is, dude,
Dogs.
football players, guys who play football well. The sport of football is what this is. Campbell, one of the better linebackers, right? Solid. And then Gibbs, literally one of the better running backs. And he's still super young. Yeah, 21, 22 carries, 139.
Yeah. How
Three
much? How many
touchdowns.
receiving yards? Because he probably had like 60 through the air too.
He had five receptions, 31 yards, one touchdown. He had four total
Oh,
touchdowns on the day.
hard to complain about that. It's a good day at the office.
Yeah, just Campbell had six total tackles, two solos, just to bring him up again. All right. Yeah, so then we're moving down and we got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Rams.
God, what a must-see game.
Well, it's the same thing. It's like the situational football. Like who's better situational football? The Rams are. Who's a better team? The Eagles.
I just feel like if you make me take a secondary, because that's what it's going to come down to is the secondary. I'm taking the Eagles secondary, and that's I mean we're going to see some fights going on, not like actual fights because it's not like that, but like some battles going on all day. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp going up against Kenyon Mitchell. Uh, ter the way that the
Dude,
way that Philly schemes their secondary, Cooper DeJean has had a freaking season.
not to bring up the Colts again, but I remember doing my draft process about like all the guys, and I saw Mitchell's name come up. Where'd he go? Like Toledo or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like Colts should think about drafting this guy.
Oh yeah, I
Like
had
sometimes that lower level college, like like not like Power Five, some of those guys are just dogs. And when they're already like first round like grades on those guys, I'm like, and of course Philadelphia gets them.
I had all three of them highlighted. Arnold, Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean, and they all went after we picked
I know.
Latu.
Yeah, I saw a lot too, and I'm like, ah, fine. But then I saw
We
Mitchell. I
needed
was
an
like,
edge rusher at
ah.
the time, but if you can't stop, whatever. We fired Gus Bradley. Well, we didn't fire him. We just decided not to resign him. It just sounds better if I say we fired him. It makes me happier.
All
Um,
right. So this game is pulling on my heartstrings because my pick is going away if I choose the Eagles. Oh, I gotta go Rams. I gotta say that they somehow figure it out, but I know the Eagles are a better football team, and this is a game I would not bet on.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna bet on it because I have a problem.
Like, as in, like, if it's like, I, oh God, yeah, I don't know.
This is actually a game I love taking money lines on games like this because it's going to be so close. It's probably gonna be like a 2.5 point spread. Um,
Yeah,
and
Philadelphia's a better team. Like,
generally with Vegas, you get 3 points if you're, um, like depending if you're the home or the away team. So this is going to be tight. It could be either way, depending on if this game was in LA or in Philly. Home field advantage goes to Philly on this one. I'm going strictly off the team that's, oh man, they have a better run game, I think, down in Philly.
yeah, you just made a good point. It's at Philadelphia. It's gonna be cold. The Rams are like a sunny team.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's gonna be a really good game, really fun game to watch. But
The
I
Rams
just have a
weren't
hard time going against Philly here.
the Rams weren't like a top seed when they won the Super Bowl, were they? Or were they? Like, did they have to go on the road and play cold games on that Super Bowl run?
Dude, I don't even remember to be honest. I don't even remember. They won their division that year, didn't they?
I, I think so. I know they were a good team that whole year. They had the kind of the same thing with injuries, I remember, when they kind of got healthy at the right time.
It was kind of hard because when that team had Aaron Donald, nothing mattered
Oh
because
yeah.
their defense could literal no names on that defense could shine with Aaron Donald taking up three blockers. Like you had to triple team him to even stop him. Shout out to Aaron Donald, man. Probably one of the best defensive players I'm gonna watch. I completely forgot about him.
Yeah, I like when those guys like do what they needed to do, become kind of like an all-timer and just kind of retire early. There's something about that
Yeah.
where I'm just like I kind of like that. I'm like, okay, he kind of gets it, right? He's got his money. Like, what else does he need? Like, he doesn't need to be ego driven in the rest of his life.
He just needs two more rings with the Indianapolis Colts and you can call it a career.
Oh gosh.
At that point, you gotta just retire, right?
It's like yeah, who's that old running back? Is it Todd Gurley or no, am I going crazy?
I mean, old Ryan, Frank Gore.
No, no, no. Who was the old Rams running back for for that is it Todd Gurley, right? He
CJ
was a
Anderson.
no, he was a Rams running back like before Matthew Stafford got there. Yeah. Yeah, Todd Gurley.
Oh, Gurley.
Yeah, Todd Gurley. Yeah, he's only 30 years old right now.
I mean, some ACL injuries add up.
Well, I know, but he like retired early, made like $30 million. He hasn't played in like 4 years, so he retired at like 26.
Yeah, he's out here bankrupting NFL teams. He was one of the four horsemen of why NFL contracts are so hard to come, or not NFL contracts, big time NFL contracts are so hard to come by for
For running
running
backs.
backs.
Yep.
It was I had a meme about that on my phone. I obviously can't find it right now because it's way back in the sauce, but he was definitely one of the pictures of why it was so hard to get a contract as an NFL running back. There was like, max figure. You got guys like Derrick Henry who are kind of breaking that now.
January 1. Yeah, I'm still trying to look up this like Rams thing. I'll have to do it later. Okay. All right, that's a bummer. All right, regardless. All right, so I'm taking the Rams. I'm gonna go a little bit. That's a stupid ass pick. Everyone should choose the Eagles.
Nice.
Everyone should choose the Eagles. I'm gonna stick with the Rams. And here's the thing. I like the Rams against the Lions. Like I love that matchup for the Rams. Something about that. I just but like Philadelphia versus the Lions, I'm taking the Lions.
All right. I just got to go Eagles. It's going to be so hard to keep up with Saquon, the way they can control the game. Uh, he's a dominant back through the air and on the ground, so it's really hard to mess with that,
I just
that
such a
flow that
bad
they have.
draw for the Rams. Such a bad draw. I love the Rams versus Detroit though. Like that's the hardest part. But yeah, most likely Eagles are
Yeah,
gonna win that one. All right, and then you got Lions versus Eagles for you. Who do you got?
Lions. I think the Lions are the best team in the NFC, and honestly, with the way that team is coached, I don't really think it's close.
If it is Lions versus Eagles, I'm taking the Lions. The only thing I'm always a little bit frightened of is when coaches are so aggressive, that doesn't always work great in situational
Hmm.
football. The averages play out in the NFL, like in the regular season, because there's so many games. Situational football, it's a one freaking game. You gotta take a field goal. Well, 3 points go a long way in the playoffs.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's one of those guys he's gonna coach the game the same way he's been coaching all season.
Yeah,
So,
he is.
fourth and short on his 39, I would not surprise me if he goes for it.
He might go for it.
That's the DCMC, or MCDC, whatever they're calling it. The energy that they're bringing down there.
Did you
Well,
see
up there,
the
I guess.
fake fumble
The fake fumble to
touchdown?
pass, disrespectful,
That was embarrassing.
disrespectful.
That was embarrassing your opponent.
Poor Bears. The Bears fans thought that they had a win just by having Caleb Williams, but
Yeah,
yeah, you get a
I
fake
gotta bring
fumble
you back
pass
on because
touchdown.
I'll do a lot of pre-draft stuff. I gotta bring you on. We gotta one grade the rookies and then do some pre-draft stuff.
I'm here for it.
All right, so that's that. Jumping over to the AFC now. We both have the Chargers, so I'm gonna do the mental math here. So it would be Chargers versus the Chiefs. Yes,
Chiefs.
give me the
And
Chiefs.
I fucking hate it, but I have to go with the Chiefs here.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. The Chargers they've struggled playing in Arrowhead the last as long as I can remember, they've struggled playing in Arrowhead. When you look at it, the Kansas City Chiefs are resting their starters for almost a total of 21 days. That team got clicking, they got hot right at the right time you want a team to get hot at. I think this is probably going to be their biggest win of the season. When you look at it from a holistic perspective of, week one to week whatever, whatever this is, they got hot. They rested all of their starters. They're going to be coming back in fully healthy. Pacheco ready to go again. It it's not looking good for the Chargers in my opinion.
Yeah, anytime I see California go to a cold weather, I get a little freaked out. Just like I was just getting freaked out
Yep.
about the Rams versus Philadelphia. So yeah, give me the Chiefs. Once again, I've said this 1,000 times. Best quarterback by a margin, best head coach, best defensive coordinator, really good special teams guy, and obviously a great GM. Give me the
Great
Chiefs.
defense too.
Dude, I love their like playoff defense. It just comes alive.
Yep.
They swarm the ball. I love it. So yeah, give me the Chiefs on that puppy. All right, and then we got Baltimore versus Buffalo.
God, potential game of the year
Oh
candidate
man.
if this is the matchup.
It's gonna be the matchup. This is probably the most probable matchup.
I'm saying if because with AFC North games, there's a lot of what if factors that get brought into play that you wouldn't normally see in another matchup. Uh, do I want the Baltimore Ravens to win against the Steelers? Yes. Would it surprise me? Well, actually, no, because if Pittsburgh somehow beats the Ravens, they're going to be playing the Chiefs.
Then
It'll
Chiefs
be
by a
complete. It'll
million.
be completely different.
Yeah,
So
so
per our bracket,
yeah.
that's really tough because I have the Bills going in my bet, but that's a yikes. I guess I have to go with the Bills, right? Because I have them in the futures bet.
Yeah, I would yeah, I mean I just kind of look at two things here, like better defense. I think there's an argument who's a better defense, but I just feel like the Ravens have better history of defense, and for some reason that matters to my brain. And I think they have a better coach. I think Harbaugh's a better coach. He's done it before. He's great situationally. Um, and then yeah, so quarterback wise though, I like both these guys so much. I could easily see Josh Allen being the hero and winning this game. But I could also see Lamar Jackson throwing for a touchdown in the first quarter, Derrick Henry getting a touchdown, and then Lamar Jackson like using his legs towards the third and the fourth quarter, getting a couple first downs and winning this game.
Yeah, I'm about to say some shit here that doesn't make sense. What team has the better defense? Baltimore. What team has the better running backs? Baltimore. What team has the better wide receivers? Baltimore. What team's got the better tight ends? Baltimore. Who's
Who's
going to win the
better?
game? Buffalo. It's
Who's
going to
gonna
come down. Josh
Josh
Allen's got
Allen?
to be the guy. To me, when I look at it, unfortunately, Lamar Jackson hasn't been that guy in the playoffs yet.
A little
I think
bit.
that's gonna factor into it a lot. When I think back, historic Josh Allen games, that game against the Chiefs where they had scored like 21 points in the last minute 30 seconds combined,
Uh,
one of the most like magnificent games I've ever seen.
they
It's
changed the rule because of that game.
they exactly they got the rule change in the playoff because of that game alone. Uh, a guy who's been there. He's got that it factor, that X factor that'll kind of play into the game. I have to go with Buffalo in this one because of my future. I don't feel great about it. I probably won't bet on the game. I'm just gonna watch it and enjoy being an NFL fan for the day, if that's the matchup.
Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy being a fan too. I'm gonna take Baltimore, and just I think it's their year. I think the Derrick Henry pick. I said this a few times. They get the extra 2 yards that they didn't get the previous years because Derrick Henry just
Hmm.
gets those extra 2 yards. Those add up over a football game. That's an extra 25 yards. That's two first downs. And yeah, give me Baltimore. But hey, Buffalo
Yeah,
wins. I'm all about it.
yeah. As a guy who watched Derrick Henry go for 150 against his team routinely, like it was, breakfast on the all-you-can-eat line at Damn Shoney's. I'll Derrick Henry's that guy. I will not be surprised if he can assist in carrying the team to a win against Buffalo. But I got to go with Buffalo here. Josh Allen is
All right, so
another level.
all right for you, Chiefs Buffalo. For me, Chiefs Baltimore.
Yep. And please give me the Bills against the Chiefs
That'll be a sigh of relief for
for
the
every
America
NFL
football
fan.
fans.
Everybody.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. I don't think they get it done
So
though. I don't believe in Sean McDermott, right? The head coach of
yeah.
Buffalo. I think they should have fired him 2 years ago.
I mean, it's tough when history repeats itself because I stopped doing stupid shit like betting against Tom Brady, you know, years before the Tampa Bay Buccaneers season happened. So it's tough for me. I really don't want to see Mahomes in another Super Bowl. At least not now. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Don't three-peat. Don't take that away from my Yankees. But if it happens, I wouldn't be surprised.
So who are you taking now? Like who would you bet on?
I legitimately have already bet on the Bills. So
Okay, so
that's
you're taking the Bills. All right, so you're taking the
I
Bills in the
have to
Super
take the
Bowl.
Bills.
Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna take Baltimore over the Chiefs. And
Nice.
to the same reason why they're going to beat Buffalo is the same reason they're going to beat Kansas City. Can Kansas City stop Baltimore's running attack? That includes Lamar Jackson because in the playoffs we know the quarterbacks are more willing to put their body on the line because the season's over if you lose. Lamar Jackson's going to carry the rock more. He's going to figure it out. Those first downs are going to come from Lamar Jackson this game. They're going to beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Mm. Mm. Revenge from what was it, week one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And last year, I believe.
When Isaiah Likely had that Kevin Durant disease where his foot was just 1 inch too big. Just
Oh
one
no,
inch.
no.
If he was
Oh
wearing a size 11 instead of the size 12, that's
yeah, I was
a
watching that
touchdown.
game and I was watching that game in Chicago and I was like, geez, this is gonna be a good NFL season.
Yeah.
All
Good thing
right,
it wasn't a Colts game.
yeah, I know. All right, so we got so I got Baltimore Lions. Well, actually, I could theoretically have Baltimore Rams. I'm gonna do all the scenarios. Baltimore versus the Rams. Give me give me the Rams. But if it's Detroit versus Baltimore, give me Baltimore. For the reason
Baltimore
of
versus, you said Baltimore versus Rams.
yeah, give me the Rams just because I want to be right. A-
Let me
and
wrap on Stafford.
yeah, I just want to be right on Stafford. But once again, I love the Rams situational football. I just like I'm obsessed with it. Um, and then against Detroit versus Baltimore, I just feel like, man, I don't know if Dan Campbell's style can win the Super Bowl, and I know John Harbaugh's style can win the Super Bowl.
You know what I'm going to do for you on this right now? I'm going to look up the odds
Good.
on what these hypothetical matchups would be,
Okay, good.
and I'm just going to throw a little $5 special on something if it's crazy. Give me a minute to pull up
Hey,
info.
that being said, you can also donate. I have a link below that goes to my website, and so you can donate and you can support Jake's $5 gamble. If someone donates $5 for this episode, I will directly Venmo it to Jake for this gamble, this bet. How about
All
that?
right, so you said Baltimore to beat the Rams.
No, no, no. Rams to beat Baltimore. That would be a lot of money. That $5 may
Oh,
pay for your kid's tuition.
brother, you ain't lying. Hold on.
But the problem with it is the Rams have to beat the Eagles. I'm not worried about the Rams going to Detroit in a dome and beating Detroit. I think that can happen. But the outdoor game is just like, oh,
All right, so for LA to beat the Ravens in the Super Bowl, those odds right now on FanDuel. This is FanDuel as of the 6th of January 2025 at 8:28 p.m. Eastern. Plus 14,000. So bet 5 to win 700.
nice, nice. Do you just know that math, or does it say it on there?
Oh, it says it on there 100%.
Okay, so
And you
bet
probably can't read
five
that well.
dollars to win 700. So you can bet $5 and pretty much pay for your car insurance for the year or whatever.
You
I don't
can
even.
bet $5 and win $705, which I just did. So there's that hypothetical matchup number one.
Once again, if someone wants to donate money for that bet, uh, love it. I will Venmo Jake, and that'll be a nice little
And if
post
not,
New Year's gift.
you can follow Mike Gesicki on Instagram and say, "Hey, you're a legend for what you did." What was that game?
Just one catch.
Against the Broncos. No, dude, it was every drive. It felt like those catches were coming like clockwork every single drive. Won a lot of money on him. What's your next hypothetical matchup that you got?
Okay, so my dream land is Rams winning over Baltimore, but then I have Detroit versus Baltimore, and in that game I'm taking Baltimore. So you have Detroit versus the Bills. Or are
Yep.
you
So
talking? Or are you
Baltimore.
talking
Oh,
betting? Are you looking at the? You're looking at the numbers.
I'm
Okay,
looking
okay.
at the lines right now. I'm probably
Yeah,
not going to bet on this. There's not a
yeah.
lot of juice. So this is actually plus 1400. The Ravens to beat the Lions.
Damn,
Um,
how's that the same odds? Is that the same odds?
no, 1400, my
Oh,
boy.
okay.
Other one was
14,000.
14,000. A little
Okay.
higher. FanDuel thinks that this is a very strong possibility. I think these odds have actually gone down since the last time I looked.
Mm,
'Cause I looked at this, I think I made this bet like week 12, 13-ish.
mm-hmm.
Um, and this was purely based off what I'd seen from the teams at the time and injuries. Uh, I didn't, at the time, David Montgomery was still playing when I made this bet. So honestly, their odds have probably gone up now, at this point too. But yeah, probably not gonna place a bet on that. So like I'm only doing $5, whatever. Like I'm not gonna miss it if it doesn't hit. If it does hit, I'll throw 350 towards the channel and we can get, Zoom Prime or Zoom Gold, whatever they call it.
That's what we need. That's what we need. I'm struggling. No, I gotta get this. There's this other thing I want to get. It's called like StreamYard, I think.
Oh
Um,
yeah, stream, yeah.
so StreamYard's kind of what I want because I put like the logo behind, make it kind of cool.
Yeah, no
But yeah,
doubt.
it's all right. 30 minutes for free is not bad.
Yeah. Vegas thinks that's a strong possibility. The whole
Well,
Ravens beating the Lions slash Ravens playing the Lions in Super Bowl.
well, I think it's possible, right? Because the Lions are number one seed, right? And we know the Ravens can beat uh like the Pittsburgh. We know Ravens can beat Buffalo, and we know the Ravens can beat the Chiefs because the Ravens are one of the only team that actually beat the Chiefs like almost consistently. Like they always play the Chiefs tough.
Yeah. Fun fact, I just looked at this by accident. Ravens and Lions is actually the favorite matchup right now per Vegas.
No, there
They're
you go.
plus 750 to be playing against each other.
See,
Um,
we know ball.
and we do know ball apparently. Baltimore is actually favored out of the AFC against any of the NFC opponents possibility. So, fun fact with that.
Yeah, we should just made this whole thing about the gambling lines. That would probably been more interesting content. Have to
Yeah,
do that
no
next
doubt.
time. All right, well, definitely have to. You got to come back for the rest of the playoffs. It's great to have you back.
Absolutely.
I've
Love
been
being here.
I've been flat out grinding on college football. So it's good to be back in the see the NFL logos again.
How's your bracket looking?
What do you mean for this?
No, for college football. Do you guys
It's
do a
I haven't
bracket?
missed. Oh, sorry. No, I haven't missed a game to be honest with you. I've actually predicted every single one correct. I
Yeah.
took Notre Dame over Georgia. I took Notre Dame over IU. Obviously, I took Penn State both times. I chose Ohio State both times, and I chose Texas. I almost lost on the Arizona State. I was like, holy shit. But I'll be taking. Um, the Penn State game's really versus Notre Dame's really put me through the ringer. I just made a video about that. I think Penn State is a talented team with a coach who's a lesser coach than Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame's coach, but
Mhm.
I don't think Penn State has a lot of heart. And I think if they had more heart, they would have beaten Ohio State at home and they would have not lost pathetically to Oregon in the Big Ten championship. So, and Notre Dame has all the heart in the world. So I'm a big heart guy, and I think that matters. So I most likely would be taking Notre Dame, and I would take Ohio State because Texas is Hollywood, and yeah, I'm not really into the running gun Hollywood style. I think Ohio State will take care of business. Wow, that
Yeah.
was a rant.
I'm a Notre Dame fan, so
Okay.
do I want to see Notre Dame play and win? Yes. Do I think they even deserved him in the playoff at all? No. That loss to NIU early in the season. You paid a team $2.6 million to come
Dude,
into your house and beat you? No, you should not even be qualified to be in the college football playoff. But they did all the necessary things to rebound from then. I thought they would beat IU. Did not think that they would win last week. Absolutely not.
dude,
So that was surprising. And then to win the way that they did against Georgia, even if Carson Beck wasn't playing, um, kind of thought that was significant. I think they could beat Penn State. I think that if they run up against Ohio State, because I think this was the final matchup is going to be based off what I've seen, they're going to get the doors blown off of them. But hey, participation trophies for all of us.
yeah, like if like Penn State's loaded, like they have unbelievable talent. Their quarterback is great. They have the best tight end I've seen in college football minus Brock Bowers. This kid's elite. He literally takes the snap from the quarterback. He's freaking sick
Can't wait for him to get drafted
by the
12th
Colts.
overall.
So he's flat out incredible. I feel like Penn State fans love their defense, but their defense just isn't that good. And I'm so
No, it's
sick of
not.
getting told from Penn State fans it's good. I'm like, it's just not. Like you think it's good. It's marketed as good.
They play
Um,
against a lot of very average teams during the regular
well, I
season.
know, and like, I'm doing these tape breakdowns and I'm talking and putting tape behind me, and I'm literally showing the plays of why I have that opinion. And
Hmm.
so yeah, it's a hard one, man, because Notre Dame's not as good right now. They have a big injury on the D line. Um, with Mills being out, but I just like the heart, so I most likely will choose them. But I put my reputation on the line choosing Notre Dame over Georgia, and I'm glad I was right. So
We did brackets at work, and right now mine is the only one with the potential national championship winner. I have
really,
Texas. I don't feel good about it. I
no, that's a
absolutely feel
horrible
like
pick. I'm sorry.
Ohio State is about to blow the freaking doors off of off of Texas when they play next. The over is 53 and a half. I'm gonna alt bet that to like over 65 and a half. I'm not even joking. And it's gonna
Texas,
be insane odds.
Texas looks really good off the bus. You know, like they're huge, they're big, but they just aren't tough. They are just a
Yeah.
speed Hollywood looking team, and I feel like Ohio State can be that way too. And so, but if Ohio State shows up like they played Tennessee, which is like one of my favorite games ever to watch, I was jacked up for that one. Um, then I think they'll just beat them up.
Yeah. I mean, this is the time of college football where I really zero in and watch a lot of the games during the playoffs.
Yeah,
Um, Especially this year with the 12 team expansion and this close to the draft when the Colts are pretty much at this point competing for a draft pick. I'm like, let me zero in and see, what's really who's who in the zoo. Uh, this is kind of where I like really focus on college football as a whole and just seeing what I saw against Oregon. I don't think that there is a team that can contain uh the Ohio
Jeremy.
State wide receiver, like the
Yeah,
core as a
Jeremiah Smith.
whole. Um,
Yeah. And they
it,
didn't use him like that this year. The Ohio State's doing two things different. One, they're just giving Jeremiah Smith the ball like he's the X and everyone knows he's the X and just give him the ball. And then two, their defense is essentially playing a 4-2-5 and they're allowing Caleb Downs to like spin down in a rotation. So he's just this kid, Caleb Downs, is just an absolute stud safety. So yeah, they're electric right now.
yeah, but it's not even just him that you have to worry about. You got Ed Buka, who's going to
Booger.
be a first round pick,
Yeah.
and he's lined up opposite.
Well, dude,
He's
and they got Henderson, the running back, who's great. Junkins, the backup running back's
Judkins.
also
Yep.
great. Like those guys are both Sunday players.
It's bizarre. I don't know how the Ohio State season came into question like it has.
Also, you lost
Uh,
The Michigan loss.
the Michigan game is just the glaring loss of and I fucking parole tied one time for the one time because Alabama losing to Michigan made my whole
Oh,
entire
I know.
season as a college football fan.
You
It's
know,
like y'all wanted to talk so much shit about how IU did not deserve to be in the college football playoff
yeah.
because of the loss of, but you go out and lose to Michigan, and this is not Harbaugh's Michigan. This is I don't even know who their coach is. Who's their coach?
Sharon Moore. Sharon Moore. Yeah. He's like a hardball guy. It was yeah. I loved every second of that. I root for Michigan actually to win all their games, but Ohio State because I want it always to be like a crazy game.
Yeah,
For the most part, and I really root Big Ten for bowl weeks, bowl games, and just to see the SEC talk so much smack why they didn't get these like three lost teams in, and then just to get boat raced against the Big Ten across the board was everything I loved about college
love it.
football.
Love to see that.
All right, man. Thanks for joining. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll definitely be back. So yeah, thanks all.